What's up? That's a 2 in a row for you. Nice little win streak you got going on here.
Am I good?
Maybe? It might be just a little bit late for that, though.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
So there are a few trades. We're heading up right on this trade deadline.
Yeah.
It's Monday at the conclusion of the game, so next week I'll probably have all the remaining trades because, again, we film on Wednesday, so anything that happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we'll talk about in the next episode.
You can also just skip to the end of this video and see if there's a preview of anything crazy that happens. But
okay, so the first one, speaking of crazy trades,
Whoa.
You were involved. You traded Isaiah Likely to Griff, who lost Mark Andrews via injury, for Tanner Hudson and Matt's 2024 third. What was the thought process behind this?
So at the time I was choosing to play Mingo over Likely, and a few people didn't like that, thought I was tanking on purpose. So I said, you know what?
Nothing screams tanking like Isaiah Likely versus Jonathan Mingo.
Well, I heard that, so Griffin sent me an offer, and then Sunday, it was like, hey, man, you going to put Isaiah Likely in? And I was like, I texted Griff, like, hey, that offer's still good? It's like, yeah. All right. So I add a pick in this year's draft and get another Bengals tight end, as I have two of them. Might fire up the 3 tight end set this week.
The 3 Bengals tight ends. But, yeah, I don't know. Likely's young, but a backup that is fine when Andrews misses. And then you got Tanner Hudson, who's probably a backup,
Yeah.
and then a third. So, I mean, you picked Likely up off waivers a year ago.
Yeah, so turning it into anything is,
Yeah,
I guess, a win.
It was a good acquisition from you.
Yeah.
The next deal, a little bit bigger than that one. Griff, active again. Traded away Chris Godwin, Mark Andrews, a 2025 fourth, and a 2026 third to Evan for Kyler Murray, Devin Singletary, Trey Palmer, and his own 2024 first.
I'm not going to lie to you. I completely missed this. This is the first time I'm reading this trade. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. So I'm like, whoa.
I believe it was Monday night.
So,
Just got done with Frisbee.
Monday night I was...
All right, talk about the trade.
The trade. Oh, okay. So I actually really like this move. I think both sides here. Griffin does get Kyler, who might be a better backup, especially heading with, you have Josh Allen on bye this week, and he also hasn't. He's been up and down this year.
He's still been good for fantasy, though.
Yeah. Devin Singletary has been a solid running back the last couple weeks. I think that Pierce has kind of taken a backseat to him. Trey Palmer has been involved. I do occasionally hear Red Zone saying there's Trey Palmer with a catch. And then a 2024 first gets Griffin back into the
First round.
And for Evan, Mark Andrews missing the rest of the fantasy season. But I do like that for him next year. Another Godwin, maybe this is the time where we see Evan start to kind of say, like, hey, I'm picking in the top 3. I have a pretty solid team when they're healthy. Let's get pieces. And maybe Chris Godwin's not the same next year. Maybe he starts to see a decline, but still a good guy that you could flex or, cover for one of these injuries he has. And then just acquiring a couple picks just to even out the trade. I think, personally, this kind of fits for both sides.
Yeah.
At least in my eyes.
I think I might like it a little bit more for Evan. I think Godwin might be on a new team next year, and I think that might do better for him. I mean, I guess it could be worse, but could also be better. And Andrews, like, when healthy, has been, like, very good. Again, going back to 2019, he's been a top 5 tight end, top 6 tight end every year. So it's been super, like, helpful to any team you have. So then Evan gets a tight end for next year. Again, out of the playoffs already this year, so it doesn't really matter. Adds Godwin if he goes to a new team, could be cool. Griff, I still like it for him, gets the good backup QB. Singletary's cool and whatnot. And then I do like Trey Palmer. If Godwin leaves and he steps into a bigger role, could be a sneaky pickup. Griff's always good at those sneaky picks when he gets the first back. So I think it was good on both ends. I think I maybe just like the Evans side a slight bit more, just because I think Mark Andrews has the potential to kind of be like
the difference maker.
Yeah, like a game-changing piece. But
yeah.
Obviously Griff worried about this year, not next year.
Not in the future.
And then he did put the first-round pick he got right on the trade block to see if he could probably add something back to, again, help his team for right now.
Yeah.
And then the last...
And then this one I saw. So I don't know how I missed the original one. I think I was caught up in the Garrett Wilson on the trade block stuff.
That also happened after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this trade between James and Ethan. James gets Jahan Dotson and a 2025 third. Ethan gets DeAndre Hopkins and a 2024 second.
Now, is it whose second is it?
Ethan gets his own.
Okay, because again the website sucks. I do like this move. James obviously selling after buying. I think in a vacuum, if you ignore what James paid for Hopkins, I don't think it's a terrible deal. Dotson is a younger receiver, so it kind of fits like his like rebuilding or retooling phase, where Ethan is trying to win now, and Dotson has been kind of inconsistent this year, whereas Hopkins has become more reliable over the last couple weeks. So I do like the move for both sides in position. Again, my only question for James is like, why go through all the buying and then, turning around 4 weeks later and selling? But in a vacuum, I think that this is another trade where I like both sides. Probably like Ethan's a little bit more right now. But if McLaurin's out of Washington, Dotson gets a boosted role. And Hopkins, we'll see if he stays in Tennessee or if he's on a new team next year.
Yeah. I kind of agree. I think this is a pretty fair deal. I'm not a huge fan of either of these players at the current time. Just Hopkins, I don't love the Tennessee kind of offense. They're a really bad team. Obviously, next year, if they draft a QB, because they might be like a top 4 pick again, could be a better situation. If Henry's gone, could pass more. Will Hopkins even be there next year? Did he sign a 2-year deal? I do not
remember.
And then gets a second. It's his, so it'll probably be late. So it's like not like right at the top of the second, but still a second. And then Dotson, I'm also not the biggest fan of. I thought he was pretty good last year. Kind of just caught a bunch of touchdowns. And then this year he's kind of been down. I don't think he's been as good when like Curtis Samuel plays, but if Samuel's out, has done pretty well. So again, who will their QB next year? Who will also like their coach be next year?
And like, what will their team be called next year? Because there's talks about rebranding again.
Yeah. So, this could be like a pretty sneaky move where if Dotson like turns it around next year and like Washington as a whole turns it around, could be like, wow, you got that for pretty cheap. Or he could just be an okay player, but at least it's a young okay player rather than an old player. So pretty fair. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's it for trades.
Yeah.
Anything else I missed?
Don't think so.
Okay, all right. Any big injuries this week? Besides the rest in peace, the Josh Dobbs Linsanity run.
True. Oh, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he
That's the
that
big
was
one.
announced this morning of our recording.
Played the whole game and then
now needs surgery.
needs surgery. They say 3 weeks, but I think that might still be a little ambitious. I don't fully know if he'll be back in 3 weeks. Maybe it'll be a little bit longer, and it's kind of like that gross situation too, where like Trevor has him, he's gonna probably come back in the playoffs, and it's like you want to start him right away, but sometimes it's sketchy to start someone right off of that. Like, are they 100%? Are they gonna be like? Will he be in a timeshare? Will it be like this? So it could be a tricky start situation for Trevor in the playoffs if he does come back in 3 weeks. Yeah, I think that was about it.
And other injury news, one more thing. The 21-day practice window has been open for Aaron Rodgers. He didn't tear shit.
I mean, I think I saw a video of him today, and he was not moving that much. Again, I think they probably opened it up in case the Jets somehow win the next 3 weeks and are in the playoff hunt. I don't think they will. They'll probably lose the next 3 weeks. Maybe they try to get him out there. I think it'll probably be, oh, we got to look at him. We got to kind of see what our offense looks like with him there. How does it look like with a real QB in practice looking? And then they'll probably shut him down for the remainder of next year, but like just getting him some reps and some look before the offseason, I think that's kind of what they're doing. I would be surprised to see him play this year, especially if the Jets aren't like in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then your coach got fired.
Yeah. Is this Panther talk now?
Second coach to get the can this year.
Oh, not this year technically, because Rule was fired week 5 of last season, so that was technically.
I meant like in the NFL.
Yeah. McDaniel, and now Frank Reich. I don't fully blame Frank Reich for some stuff. What I can blame him for is that horrendous play call on 4th and 6.
Yeah, that
throwing
was funny.
A screen pass to DJ Chark.
What were your thoughts about Jonathan Mingo jumping out of bounds to catch the ball?
Everyone is like honing in on that one play, ignoring that he had a decent game.
I've never seen anything like it. Why didn't he just stop running?
I think it was more he was like trying to go to the sideline and then the ball came.
The ball was kind of behind it, but like just chop your feet once.
Listen, man. All right.
So who do you think they bring in a coach? Rule? Bring him back?
Hey, we gotta do power rankings. Let's go. Don't ever mention him again.
Matt? Because number 12 is actually James. James lost again.
That he did.
Not good. Yeah, he put up the lowest points.
Yeah.
Pierce didn't do much. Pickens did Schultz did London had a pretty good game, which I guess is like the bright spot there. Yeah, just
Cooks did a couple things.
yeah, but is Cooks really the future of this team? At this point, you're thinking about the future. So, I guess for the end of the year, you're rooting for newly acquired Dotson, and then Drake London and Pickens to have like some big games, and then hopefully like a Dameon Pierce resurgence. Number 11, You have Matt.
Matt, who?
Matt Rule. Dobbs put up 4 points and probably lost his job, so that was atrocious. And he didn't have a QB break 10 on roster.
That is something.
And he has a few on his roster.
4 to be precise.
You forgot the taxi with Bryce Young.
Oh, that's right.
Tyson Bagent. But James Cook looked good. Garrett Wilson found the end zone in garbage time, but still found the end zone. JSN. But Laporta did really good on Thanksgiving, and Rashee Rice had a huge touchdown, also 10 targets. Looks like a really promising sign. Again, you're kind of in the same boat, or he's kind of in the same boat as James here. Can't make the playoffs. Kind of just, you don't have your pick, so you don't even really care about losing. Just want the young guys to do good. And I think he's kind of seeing that. If, JSN has a big week, and you're just hoping that, Charbonnet also does a little bit better again. Walker's hurt, but he kind of has a gauntlet of defenses coming up. But seeing this, I guess, can maybe shine some hope on next year. You get a better QB that puts up a respectable 17 points. Next thing you know, you're averaging 120 a game, and you're going to win some games and could maybe do all right. So I guess it's a bright spot for Matt this week.
Yeah.
And a really bright spot, kind of, Ryan. Hurts put up 34 after having 6 in the third quarter.
This is the second week in a row where I'm like, oh, here's the Hurts stinker, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, 2 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing. It's like, what the hell was going on?
Yeah, OT was a death sentence.
It
ended up not mattering.
It didn't matter. I won by what, 44 points?
Yeah, but at the time it felt like a death sentence.
Yeah.
Brees didn't do much.
Caught the ball a lot.
Yeah, for not a lot of yards. Roshan, 5 for 40 through the air. Seems to be the pass catching back there. Zay Flowers found the end zone twice.
Yeah.
That's good. Gabe Davis had a Gabe Davis week after 3 weeks of nothing. Here's the boom. Watson scored a touchdown. Played pretty well, I thought.
Yeah.
Komet did okay. Mingo, again, had a okay week for him. I think this, I said this to you, I think this win hurts a little bit less than last week, where it's all my young guys that I'm kind of hoping on for next year and the future did good. So I guess it's a little better to see than the other week where, again, it was Singletary dropped 30 and got you over 70 points to win.
Yeah.
That one hurts a little bit more when it's random guys you don't care about. When it's foundation pieces, it feels a little bit nicer.
The 3 wide receivers that I have that are all young and a part of this team in the future plans, all getting 20 like that. I as much as I wanted to lose this one to kind of sweeten my chances for pick 1, I was like, hey, I can't be mad. That's what I want to see. I wanted to lose, but I'm also but do I want to see these guys suck?
Yeah, that's always the tough part. Because if you guys suck, then it's
Also, another week where I'm like, you know what? Thankfully, I didn't trade Hurts or Brees Hall I had. There were talks about doing, because I would have won regardless. Take away 34, I still win by 10.
But then you keep trading.
And then reset again?
I don't know. 9, I have Jasmus. Jasmus got the win, but he would have only beat James. And who did he play? He played James. Fields looked not good.
Not great.
Seems like they'll probably go QB with that Carolina pick if those performances keep up. The Gus Edwards touchdown streak comes to an end.
Yeah, the Gus Edwards Linsanity run has died.
Eckler
is imitating Melvin Gordon, but not prime Melvin Gordon, current Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, he's not been ideal. Amari, they're not going to have a QB, and he was banged up. I think they missed him on a big play. Zay Jones.
I'm looking at this wide receiver core combined for like 10 points, and I'm like, wait, this guy won?
Yeah. Cooper Cup. Might be Cooper cooked.
Yeah.
But then he got carried by, well, he got a Najee Harris touchdown, which is huge. And then got carried by Isaiah Pacheco, who had 2 on the ground.
Man, if only that didn't happen.
Yeah, if that doesn't happen, if he just scores a touchdown, James wins.
Yeah.
But
He got 2.
that's not the world we're living in.
The cookie crumbled that way.
Indeed. But this also may be a playoff team.
Christ on a bike.
Number 8. Got Evan. Evan put up a cool 100. Gibbs didn't look as good as previous, but still had an okay showing. Herbert didn't play fantastic fantasy-wise. Devonta Smith, again, we kind of talked about it, when it's like just him and A.J. Brown, or just he goes off once Dallas gets back, then it kind of evens out more. Waddle had a pretty big game against the Jets. And the rest of the team didn't do much. And then again, traded away some guys to get like Mark Andrews, who again won't help this year, but will likely help the future. So, again, not expecting much these next 2 weeks. 7, I have myself. Put up 106. Dak has been like the best QB over the past like 6 weeks. Ramondre's been playing really well over the past few weeks. Had another 20-point performance. DJ Moore with Justin Fields keeps putting up like 20 points, which is good. Addison got targeted a lot, but Dobbs was stinking it up out there for him.
Another insanity run that we saw die.
Yeah, and then the rest of my team sucked. So.
Well, you were starting Kyle Phillips, who got you positive points.
But negative yards.
And then Quentin Johnston, well, yeah.
Yeah. Guess I should have played Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, I guess so.
Still would have lost.
War Eagles legend Khalif Raymond to you.
Next. 6 have Steve. Steve put up 111. Did lose, though. Love has been playing really well recently. Debo had a big week. Rest of the team just kind of did fine. Saquon struggled in that game of no scoring.
Yeah.
Of defensive battles against New England. James Conner they got blown out by the Rams, so he wasn't used too much. Terry got blown out. Just wasn't a fantastic week for a lot of his team. I think if he set his like ideal lineup,
he would have gotten like 160-something points.
Yeah, and could have maybe came away around with a run. Yeah, if he plays Chuba, if he plays Jacoby Myers, if he plays Curtis Samuel, if he plays like Trey McBride instead. Like, again, I think I said this last week. If Steve picks the right people to start, like, he's going to have a good team. It just, so many people are so close picking the right ones. Will it always happen? No. But if he can, good team. 5, got Cherry. I thought I was going to beat Cherry for a while there. And then I think, like, Bijan, Ridley, and, like, Nico Collins all caught touchdowns in, like, seconds.
Yeah, it was like...
And it was like, same I was at, like, 80%, and then I was at, like, 20%. And I was like, oh, that was a fast turnaround. But, yeah, Nico played really well. Ridley played really well. And Bijan is looking like the Bijan we thought we were going to get. So...
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when, like, you use your good players.
Yeah. It is shocking. And the whole team, like, no one really stunk besides Tua. Tua didn't play well, but he also didn't really have to. You're playing the Jets, like, you just score once, you win the game. And yeah, I like looks pretty good. Obviously, like positive week. 4, I've got Zach.
Look at him go.
McCaffrey went off. Yeah, he's McCaffrey. We know that.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me he's good. I'm aware.
I think Joe Mixon did bad. Might struggle a little bit with no Burrow and kind of like what's this Bengals offense going to look like with Browning. CD did good. He didn't do what he has been doing. Well, he
I
dropped
wouldn't
40.
complain about a 17.
Yeah, but I'm hard to complain about that. Evans 2 touchdowns, but then Thielen only 1 catch for 2 yards. I think he has kind of cooled off. Was really good in the beginning of the year. Still had some decent weeks, some weeks, and then Kittle wasn't really used as much this week. David Montgomery still found the end zone, but yeah, obviously it's a good team. You have CMC, like he keeps you in games regardless. 3, Ethan. Ethan dropped 155. Had a lot of things clicking for him, basically everything. Olave had a huge week, 18 points, then got concussed. Keenan is doing
His brain
Keenan
got to be
things.
scrambled eggs, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like every big Olave play last year, you just see his head bouncing off the turf, and then it's like, or he's unconscious, and you're like, okay, is he like good to like play football still? Does he have like plans to walk once he turns 30?
Probably not.
I'm gonna go with no.
But yeah, again, just a huge week. Everything was clicking for him, and that's what he could do. 2, Trevor. Again, he was the highest scorer this week. Everything's clicking for him. Taylor had 21, but then did get hurt. Kyron, 38, like right off injury, back into the lineup is just a beast. Tyreek Hill. Pittman's like 10 catches for 107 yards. That's huge. Hawkinson still found the end zone in what was a gross game. Just Puka didn't really have it going there. And then Stroud's been cooking on his bench. I think he even said he might make the switch from Lamar to Stroud. Then, Josh Jacobs had 100 yards on the ground on his bench, plus a touchdown. He's a good team. And 1, Griff, still with only 1 loss, put up 161. Allen had 40. Mostert 2 touchdowns. Again, he was another guy that it was doing nothing, and then it was oh, he scored, and it was oh, he scored again. Tank Dell. He had 1 huge play taken back for penalty, and then another one right on the sideline where it was did he get his toes in? They said no. Pollard found the end zone again, put up 20. He's really good. And then we'll talk playoffs. Things are looking a little bit cleaner now. Matt and James are eliminated. Jazz missed this week. Clinches a playoff spot with a win. I need a win to keep the playoff hopes alive. If I win, it kind of looks a little bit better for me looking at the remaining matchups. Steve clinches the playoffs. If he wins or if I lose, he's guaranteed in. And Ethan did clinch a bye. Your division, you, Evan, and Sherry are eliminated.
So we know our playoff teams.
Yeah. Griff will clinch the bye with a win or a Trevor loss. Trevor, clinched the playoffs, but needs a win and a Griff loss to have a chance for the bye. And then if he wins or Zach loses, I believe he clinches the 2 seed.
I got news for you. I don't think I'm pulling this one out with Zach.
And then Zach clinched the playoffs, but needs a win and a Trevor loss to end up for a shot for the 2 seed going into the last week.
So
and then we're looking the draft pick tracker. James, if he loses James, but it's Cherry who has the pick, so Cherry needs James to lose out and score less points than Matt, and then he guarantees pick 1. If Matt or like Evan rooting wise, loses out and scores less points than James, guarantees pick one. Ryan, you need to lose out, have Matt and James each win one game at least, and score less points than them both, and then you could get pick one. If I lose this week, I just get pick four. For Evan, the pick's owned by James. A loss and a cherry win would guarantee him pick five. If he loses out and I win out, he has a shot to get pick four depending on points. And then if Cherry loses out and Evan wins one, and then Cherry also scores 70 less points than Evan, he could get up to pick five. If not, it's kind of looking like he's going to be at pick six. And then, yeah, that's it for the draft pick stuff. And then, yeah, just looking at total records again, it's ridiculous. You and James have the exact same record of 29 and 103. Matt is currently in last, 27 and 105. And then Griff is 116 and 16.
So I think the last time I can recall, which was, I want to say back in like week 9, we were like, oh yeah, Griffin's like blank and 13. So that means there was only 3 opportunities to him to lose in those last 3 weeks.
His last 3 weeks, he would have went 10 and 1 against the league, 11 and 0, and then 10 and 1. So 31 and 2 over his last 3 weeks. His total record looks like when me, him, and Zach were on a wiffle ball team with my cousin, that was like a run differential, 116 to 16. Except for we might not have even have given up 10 runs in the year, but we were plus like 100 and something. And now Griff's reliving that again, but through fantasy football. Just ridiculous. Trevor's also right there at 112 and 20. Ethan, 102 and 30. And then Zach, basically the same, 101, 31. And then the teams in the middle are hanging out. So, that's about it for this.
Let's go check out if Griff's going to lose this week. Matchup previews. We are back. Matchup previews. Week 13. Adam. How'd we do last week?
Last week, I went 2 and 1. Got 7 points. Ethan right, Trevor right. James did not win. Made my all-time record 26 and 10 for 105.3 points. You also went 2 and 1, but pulled in 10.4 points. Griffin and yourself were right. I did not pull out the win, so 5.1 and a 5.3 made your all-time record 20 and 156. 16, actually. And you're up to 86.4 points, so still you're like 19 behind. And then last week, Jasmus beating James gave him a better all-time win percentage than James.
There you go.
He passed him for the first time.
Look at that. Good storylines there. I guess that means that I'm picking first still.
Like when I got to pick first.
Was that week 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta go bold, man. You gotta go bold. If there's one thing that I can see happening here, it's the Connecticut Crusade.
Is this something you could see or something you want to see happen?
Something that I can see. It's the Connecticut Crusade taking down the Cranberries for 5.9 points. My reasoning behind that, I look at Mahomes playing Green Bay. There, I'm going to ignore Miles Sanders and Dameon Pierce. We're going to pretend they're not there. Brennan Cooks versus a Seattle defense that's been kind of mid.
Yeah.
Dotson versus Miami. Miami's known for their offense, not their defense. Pickens versus Arizona. As we discussed off camera earlier, this is the same team that allowed 50 points to Jamar Chase. I expect 30 from Pickens. Dalton Schultz taking on Denver. I like that matchup for him. Big concern is going to be London against the Jets. And depending on which side of the field he's on, depends on who's covering him. Don't really like either DJ Reed or Sauce Gardner on that. But, yeah, I think Pittsburgh kind of holds McBride down. The McLaurin versus Dotson story there is an interesting one. Just gotta see who does better. And I think the Rams slow down Jerome Ford, and Pittsburgh holds James Conner kind of, in place. And then Sam Howell is either going to score 40 or he's going to throw 4 interceptions. So I do like James this week.
Yeah. James, I guess I could kind of see it. Steve will be without Saquon and Jacoby Myers and Dalton Kincaid. And I think McBride is questionable, dealing with a groin issue, didn't practice on Wednesday. Dalton Schultz also did not practice Wednesday, so the tight end matchup might actually be Cameron Latou on IR versus no one. So that might be,
That's funny. That's actually really hilarious.
Yeah. It's tough to go with James when you look at his running backs.
It is. But then you think, hey, maybe this is the week where Miles Sanders does something.
And then Denver did give up 100 points to Miami that one week. So maybe Pierce, gets it. I actually don't hate the pick. I think Steve will probably win. But, I mean, you never know.
You really
That's
don't.
why they play the game. James is 1-0 versus Steve, so that would be going to make it 2-0. My first pick, I'll go with the War Eagles. I'll go with I'll ride with Trevor. For 4.5.
Funny enough, I was just looking at possibly who to, take next. I was like, getting 5.5 of cherry wins wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but you took Trevor, and how about you tell me why?
He'll be without Hawkinson and Jacobs. Obviously tough, but I think the real thing hurting Trevor there is the tight end. He's having to go to Tyler Conklin. Starting Jets players is not a great success for fantasy points.
You say to the Brees Hall fantasy manager.
Am I wrong?
He's been doing all right.
But yeah, like Tyreek versus Washington, he may score 100 on his own. Like Pittman versus Tennessee, another just blow-up matchup. Kyron's been nasty. Like, I don't love the Puka matchup versus Cleveland for him. But whatever. And then you look at Cherry. Cherry does have some decent matchups. Bijan versus the Jets. Jets struggle against the run, especially like pass-catching running back. So that could do good for him there. Rashad White, Carolina. Obviously, they don't win many games, so good game script to get some rushing. Rest of the team, though, I don't feel super confident about it. And, Trevor's really good. I think that's enough.
If I was to pick who I think is going to win, and not just for point value, probably would also say Trevor.
Plus, it's almost like a 50-50, 55-45, not bad. But Trevor's worst opponent by point differential is actually Cherry. It's the team he's struggled the most against point-wise. He's minus 120, even though he has a 3-4 record, so only one loss, but I guess has been blown out by Cherry in the past. Who are you going with?
Appears to be. This is where it gets tough. A lot of these matchups, they seem pretty settled. But when you're down this much.
You ride with Ryan. 3-game win streak.
You ride with what you think, with what you want to happen, and what doesn't seem, and what might seem out of the ordinary, especially when that team is starting Will fucking Levis. Give me the goddamn Bison. Give me the damn Bison over the Gladiators.
How many points?
It'd be for 6.2 points. I got some catch up to do. I gotta make it snappy.
Okay.
I gotta make it snappy.
So let's hear the reasoning.
Zach Charbonnet. Ken Walker is out. He's gonna get an expanded role. Doesn't matter who he's playing, right? Like we just talked about, Miami's defense is not great. Brian Robinson, another guy, getting involved in the passing game more, and they might need him. Garrett Wilson playing Atlanta, he could do a thing. JSN's probably going to be a non-factor. Rashee Rice could have the big week that we've all been waiting for. Sam Laporta is good. Rashid Shaheed is playing Detroit, and they have not been great against the pass recently. And the Jets, not great against the run, and who knows who Dan Campbell's going to use. So Algier could get more than 5 points. And then on the opposite side, not the biggest fan of Keenan versus New England. And DeAndre Hopkins still has Will Levis throwing him the football, and Derrick Henry is cooked. Therefore, I'm taking the goddamn Bisons.
I guess if there was a week to pick it, I guess it would be this week. Keenan did not practice today, I believe. Probably like kind of a rest day type thing. But who knows if he doesn't play. And if Olave is still concussed and doesn't play, yeah, he's starting Alec Pierce. Pat F. running the 2 tight end set with Kelsey. Ethan's going to win, but...
stranger things have happened.
Sure. And then if we look at this, Ethan is 5-1 versus Matt, and he's going for his 30th career win. So good for...
Sadly, Ethan, you will have to wait till next week. Unfortunately.
I'm going to go with Jasmus to beat myself.
He's betting against himself. I would like the collusion police to come and investigate this. Then again, you are starting Kyle Phillips and Marvin Mims.
I'm having a similar week to you, but probably not as bad. I won't have DJ Moore, I won't have Wandale, and I won't have Jordan Addison, who have kind of been my 3 pretty consistent starters. I do like how I have Zach Moss for me with a Taylor injury, but then again, if a Chan is back, got logged a limited practice against Washington, should go crazy. Maybe Cooper Kupp doesn't suck. Pacheco against Green Bay will probably score. Najee against Arizona will probably score. Vulture Warren and probably lose and miss out on the playoffs, but you never know. Maybe I win.
Do.
But Jasmus does own me. He has won 6 straight and has scored above 130 in each of them, and I have scored under 130 in each of them. So you match up any of our last 6 matchups, I lose no matter what. Not great. Jasmus owns me.
So now it brings me to a choice.
War Eagle.
How many points am I down?
Like 19.
Wow. Caught up. I was down like 40 at one point?
I don't know if it was that much. Maybe like 29. You've been slowly chipping. You're swinging for the fence.
But if you think that I'm going to pick my rival over the team that I stand, you're goddamn insane. I'm taking What Would Jones Drew over the War Eagles for a modest 2.5 points. I took two swings at the home run. I'm going to take my bunt single.
Can't wait for you to get 2.5 points.
It's going to be great. The biggest reason being...
you want to lose and you want Matt and James to win.
Yes.
So if your predictions happen, Ryan's going to be...
a happy
he's an
lad.
ear to ear on this show All day.
Biggest reason why is that I'm not going to have Roshan, Gabe Davis, Zay Flowers, Cole Kmet, and then Zach also has to start a few guys that I don't think he would want to. Actually, well, he's just missing Godwin, fucking Devontae. And yeah, I think Zach is gonna win. I'm gonna guess 173 to 67.
That would be quite a blowout.
Yeah.
You two, Zach won the last matchup to break your 6-game winning streak that you had going against him.
Yeah, it was sad.
And it might be sadder.
Yep.
And then that leaves the last matchup. Griff versus Evan.
Do it.
And if Noah Brown plays,
Do it.
I'm going with Griff for 3.9.
Brother, do I have to remind you?
I
yet
can
again,
coast out.
This is an Anteaters.
116 and 16. Griff doesn't lose.
Except for when he does.
Except for when he does, but I don't think that'll be this week.
But you think it was going to be week 5?
The Saints might not have a receiver. Alvin Kamara might get 1 million targets.
Did you think that Griff was going to lose week 5?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You predicted the War Eagles doing the silliest thing?
Didn't I? I predicted some crazy upset.
It was like Matt over.
It might have been
it was
Matt,
one of
yeah.
Matt's wins. You were like,
I think I was gonna pick you, but then you stole it from me.
yeah, I'm going with the War Eagles.
No, you didn't go with yourself.
I went with Griffin, didn't I?
I think I was gonna
Opportunity
go. I was
missed.
gonna go with you, and swing for the fences, and then I was furious that you stole my pick and picked the wrong
Would have
way.
been good.
Yeah, but they just made the trade, so Chris Godwin revenge game. But yeah, Griff, he's been so good. It's basically as simple as that.
Well, that does it for the matchup previews. We are going to...
I do want to mention this. Griff is
No.
5-0 versus Evan. Griff has
Soon to be
never
5-1.
lost versus Evan, and I hope he keeps it up because I like rooting for Griff to be undefeated versus teams. I think it's funny.
That will do it for matchup previews. We do have a question. Or maybe Adam concoct something. So we'll head over to Adam Rambles right now.
And we are here with the question. It was from Cherry, right?
Yes.
He said, not complaining, mostly because he has his own pick. Just curious. There's been a decent amount of discourse over the divisions for the past few years. As of this week, 5 of the top 6 teams are in the Spit division. We keep saying it'll even itself out, but the top 3 picks in this upcoming draft are all for the Spit division. When do you guys predict it will even out? And at what point would league offices need to step in, if at all? Thank you, I'll hang up and listen. He said, additionally, in terms of all-time record, 5 of the top 7 all-time records are in the Spit division. This is all being said, I'm still team keep the divisions the same. Just wanted to hear others' thoughts on it.
So, rearranging the divisions to make them a little more even has kind of been a topic of discussion, I would say, for the better part of what now? 3 years?
Yeah, maybe even 4.
Yeah, maybe. After 2019, maybe. I didn't envision the divide of, at least like to the naked eye, the divide of the divisions as bad as it was. Like, we had 2019, which was kind of a rough year for that, and we thought, well, we'll eventually even itself out. And then it kind of didn't. It kind of got like worse and worse as the years went on, until we have the mid-off that is whatever 2nd through 6th is in your division.
Yeah.
And I think part of the issue was, like, you think about, like, people who were picking in picks, like in the high picks. You had 2020, Zach had picks 1 and 2. 2021, I was picking pick 1.
I think I was 2.
And you were 2, which was okay. And then 2022 was... Or no, I'm sorry, 2022 was me picking first. Right? Am I dumb?
Oh, 2021, you weren't up there.
No.
2022 was me and you. Last year was Cherry and Evan.
And then Matt was 3. But I have noticed that, like, pick 1 has almost exclusively been in the spit division.
Yeah.
Because there was Clyde.
Nikhil.
2
juggernauts.
Yeah, 2 juggernauts.
That are definitely
then,
leading the spit division.
Brees, Bijan. Who was the pick 1 that other year? Najee. But that was also Zach.
Is pick 1 ass?
Hey, dude, Brees Hall's cool.
Yeah.
But that is 5 years. If you want to count the startup, then yeah, I guess James with pick 1 and Todd Gurley was the first number 1 overall pick that we had, and the only one that was in the Swallow division. I am open to rearranging the divisions, but I'm also kind of like, hey, if the rest of the league wants to, I'm down. If they don't, whatever. I'm still probably going to suck. So I'm open to hearing what you as the commissioner have to say.
Wait, I'm trying to find something.
No. Do you want AJ Richardson?
No.
How about AJ Green?
So, but like, yeah, the 1 pick has been in your division each year, but 3 of the 5, it was like owned by a team that was in your division too. Like, Cherry owned this pick.
Yes.
And tanked there. Zach tanked there, and then the first year it was also Cherry, but then it was traded to Trevor. So it was like, was yours, and then there was the 2 Matt years also in there with you and Evan. Wait, Zach. Zach with Najee.
Yes, Zach with Najee and myself with Brees Hall.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, Matt had a bad stretch of trades for a long time.
For 3 years.
Yeah, and then it set him back a ton. I don't know. Also, I think you look at 5 of the 7. I have like playoffs added into here, but like, yeah, win percentage, it's like Griffin, Trevor, way ahead of the rest of the field, and then it's Jasmus, then James, then Cherry, then Evan, and then like Ethan, because I don't have Ethan combined with Tori.
Yeah.
And I think Tori sucked, now that I'm looking at it. Because when I was looking at...
I think combined record, they are... Or Ethan is... Regular season record.
Regular season, he's...
1 game behind me and you.
Yeah, 35 and 44. And Ethan already has 29 wins.
Yeah.
Including, like, 3 in the playoffs, though, so...
So 26 wins. So that...
He might have had another one in the other year, too.
Yeah.
So he already has, like, 20 more wins than, like, Tori. Like, what was Tori? I think I could actually find this. Tori's 1-1. 2-5. 3-5. 4-5. Wait, nope. I did that backwards.
That's whatever.
He has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 12 wins and then more loss. I don't know. So yeah, like Ethan is better than Tori was as like that way. So like win percentage wise, that's up. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking I'm gonna turn it around, and then I don't. I keep drafting all the bad receivers because I've had some picks. So I was like, I'll be up there. And it was like, obviously, like, James was good for the past, like, the first 3-ish years especially, and then still solid the past 2, and now finally, like, the wheels have fallen off. We said it with Matt. Has been just bad this whole time. Steve, again, he's on his 2nd year and going to make the playoffs, and, like, we'll see where it ends up. Like, he might finish better than Evan because he has, again, James and Matt to finish out the schedule, and Evan has, like, Zach and
Griff
and Zach, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like he might technically finish as one of the top 6 teams record-wise. But yeah. I don't know, because it does seem that way of our teams. I also don't know if it's like because our division like had a really bad year and then people were like, I could make the playoffs. And then like
everyone tried to buy.
Like bought like crazy and then traded away all their futures, and then it was like maybe got into the playoffs for that year or something and then kind of sacrificed the next 4 and then kind of got sad because they were bad for 3 and then bought it like again. Like I don't really know. It kind of does seem like just a few people just buy all the picks and then draft them all and then move. It's like a new wish person, kind of. Like it was like first Zach, then Ethan, then like you, kind of. And then like kind of me and Cherry now. But I think we could definitely realign. Another thing that was thought about is like you still keep the same divisions, but make the last 2 spots like a wild card.
Okay.
So it would be like the top seed in each division still gets a bye. The 2 seeds each still make the playoffs, and then it would go to the next 2 best records instead of like 3 and 3. So it's kind of like, again, yeah, like a wild card.
Yeah.
Which like the NFL has. Because who knows? Like I still believe that I could turn it around, and like Ethan obviously has a really good team that's still pretty young. Steve has some guys. Like I think Matt, again, I don't think Matt's as horrible as years past, and I think he, if things like go right, could possibly win more than 3 games in a season forever. But I don't fully know of like if people vote to change the divisions, then it just is also like how often do you change them? Do you just like wait until it like gets bad?
Yeah.
And then just be like, all right, we're going to change them again, which I guess could happen, just however long that takes, however long it takes. Also, would we switch it and then still do the extra team gets in, like the wild card thing? I don't know. Do we just get rid of divisions in total and just go 12 teams, top 6 make it, bottom 6 don't, like other fantasy leagues do too? I don't know.
I still like my original idea.
No.
Okay, fine. 4 divisions, 3 teams. Wait. No, 3 divisions, 4 teams. Fuck it.
6 divisions, 2 teams.
Yes. Winner of each division gets to move on.
Yeah. Just one Matt. You play the other person in your division every week for the whole season, and then one of you gets to go in.
Yes.
That's a good league idea.
That is a good league idea. I guess what I'm gonna like make my final point on is Griffin actually made me laugh out loud the other day when he sent the picture, and it was back in 2020. Matt changed his team name to 2023 The Future, and that team went 0-14. And then he sent a screenshot of the Bison. They're right now 2-10.
I also wonder, like, what it like. Is it just constantly like your division is always fleecing us in trades? Like you see some of these, and it's like the James pick that is gonna be Marvin. I went back and James traded it to Trevor for Leonard Fournette, which now looks obviously horrible. Fournette, I think, was like RB7 that year, so obviously
Not that bad.
if you're trying to win, like it makes sense. You give up a first in the future, but then your team falls off and bad timing, and then it ended up getting the cherry from Trevor anyway. But like, is it like that? Is it like, I feel like mine has been a lot of, man, I can't draft. I keep picking bust after like worst pick in the first round after worst pick in the first round, and it's like, hey, if I hit even kind of average on some of these guys, my team would look way better. Is it like we're just not drafting well, or is it we're not trading well, or is it you just like suck? Like I don't
know.
Everyone bad at setting lineups all the time or something. Like, is it just like skill? Are we worse than these people, the bottom teams? Or is it just like we've struggled in an area or something? Just like, again, trading away picks early. But I feel like everybody does that too. And it's like Griff never has his own pick. Trevor never has his own pick. It's like, are they just then trading those picks and like getting better guys to always bring in and keep them competitive? Because I feel like that's what...
Instead of Jonathan Mingo and Tank Bigsby and Keyshawn Butte.
Yeah. Well, but, like, is it just they are better at identifying the people to go get for long term? Because I feel like we kind of saw people do that. We saw, like, Jasmus and James do that, getting, like, an Eckler and, like, Cup, Tyreek, everybody to, like, kind of build your team. And then, like, James, I feel like, was doing it for a while. Like, I got this extra RB help I needed. I got Dalvin Cook this year. He got the Fournette. And it just, like, you're getting them, and then the second you get them, they immediately fall off, where it's, like, Griff, Trevor, this division is, like, buying here, and it's like, oh, then they're taking off. I don't know what it is or when it will change, or if it will ever change. Obviously, I think at least at some point Matt will win more than 2 games again, and
I'll be trying.
you'll be in the playoffs. You won't be 2 years away. Like, there's going to be some turnover sometime, but I don't know exactly what the pinpoint is, and maybe it'll be this year. Again, I'll have a vote. I wouldn't be opposed to a switch up of divisions.
All right,
I wouldn't be
12
opposed
divisions, 1 team in each division.
or just adding like the wild card, because I think even if we switch divisions, I think that could be a cool thing to have. So then it's like, so like even like our division this year, technically, like me and Jasmus could have still been fighting to jump Steve to get into the like the playoffs in our division, but not fighting for like the wild card spot, where like Evan and Jerry would be fighting for that spot, kind of thing. Like it could
be interesting
there.
Yeah, but I think that is kind of the long form answer to Cherry's question, and I think that also wraps up the show. So I hope this show's not too long, because depending on what happens between this very moment and the clock hitting 0 on the Monday Night Football game, which I think is actually, is this week? There's 2, right?
No, there's a bunch of buys.
Oh, that's right, it's buys. Never mind, don't listen to me, I'm stupid. But you can hear my stupid ass next week when we see you. Have a good one.